she's a sweetheart, and she didn't deserve this. And it's just too painful. And it's just, honestly, you just don't ever expect this to happen.
She had just been preparing dinner in her own home, a loving wife, a devoted mother, 5 months pregnant, and planning a future with her family. In less than 10 minutes, her life, and the life of her unborn child, would be destroyed in what authorities would later call one of the most brutal murders in Downers Grove history. A 30-year-old woman named Eliza Morales was stabbed approximately 70 times, 70, by a 19-year-old stranger she invited into her apartment under the pretense of a simple vehicle sale. Her body was later found amidst flames she did not start. This is not a crime scene from a distant place, not a faraway city. This happened in Downers Grove, Illinois, a Chicago suburb where neighbors now tremble at the memory of a violent confrontation that began with a Facebook marketplace transaction and ended in unfathomable loss. Today, we go behind the headlines and explore what happened, why it shocked an entire community, and how one tragic encounter will have repercussions for years to come. Eliza Morales was described by her family and friends as warm, kind, and devoted to her loved ones. She was 30 years old, married to her high school sweetheart, Gabriel Morales.
But first tonight, a community is grieving after learning the horrific details in court today of a young pregnant mother attacked and killed in her Downers Grove apartment.
30-year-old Eliza Morales was stabbed 70 times. Investigators say a 19-year-old man attacked her and started a fire after a Facebook marketplace deal went wrong. Tonight, her community held a vigil. NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal spoke with Morales' family.
100 people turned out for this vigil tonight. The family says a precious life was ripped away. Behind me, you can see the victim's apartment and the growing vigil, candles and mourners out here for 30-year-old Eliza Morales, as prosecutors say her brutal killing was linked to a sale on Facebook. As candles glow in the bitter cold, loved ones remember Eliza Morales and her unborn daughter.
As a loving mother, sweetheart, and she didn't deserve this. And it's just too painful.
Her family says the Downers Grove mom, 5 months pregnant, was home cooking dinner Monday. Her husband and toddler both out.
She was always cooking and the last one to eat. She wanted to make sure everyone was taken care of before herself.
And mother to a young daughter of about 2 years. At the time of her death, she was 5 months pregnant with their second child. She worked in the payroll department of a children's hospital, a job that reflected both her competence and her compassion. Her colleagues remembered her generosity and gentle nature, someone who cared deeply about the people around her. On the evening of January 26, 2026, while Gabriel was at work and their daughter was elsewhere with family, Eliza was at their Downers Grove apartment preparing for the weekend ahead, completely unaware that the ordinary would soon turn into something horrific. The chain of events that led to Eliza's death began not with violence, but with a common, modern-era transaction, selling a vehicle online. The Moraleses had listed their 1994 Ford Ranger pickup truck on Facebook Marketplace. A young man, 19-year-old Natives Revucas, expressed interest in the truck. He arranged to come to the apartment that Monday afternoon, not to finalize a sale with cash in hand, but to return license plates and pick up the bill of sale after the initial transaction. Security camera footage captured Revucas walking toward the apartment building shortly before 5:30 p.m. surveillance would later become a cornerstone of investigators' reconstruction of what unfolded. But footage would only show the beginning, not the violence soon to follow. Inside the apartment, what began as an ordinary exchange quickly spiraled into something incomprehensible. Prosecutors alleged that Revucas became angry over the condition of the truck, a reaction that had no proportionate cause. In court documents, he later told investigators that during their interaction, Eliza mentioned she was pregnant.
Morales was 5 months pregnant and due to give birth to her second daughter in March. Investigators say Nita's Revucas was angry about the condition of the pickup truck he bought from Morales' husband on Facebook Marketplace, and that he came to the family's home to pick up a bill of sale and decided to take out his frustration on Eliza. He allegedly stabbed Morales 70 times and the family dog at least once before setting the apartment on fire to cover up the crime. The woman's husband and her 1.5-year-old daughter were not home at the time of the attack. Prosecutors say he confessed to the murder, adding that during the struggle, Morales told him she was pregnant. Police are still looking for the murder weapon as they sift through evidence.
There are a number of pieces of evidence, including the sexual assault kit, that will be and have already been sent to our crime lab.
That moment, according to authorities, marked the start of an unthinkable assault. Eliza Morales was stabbed approximately 70 times, mostly to her head and neck, according to the DuPage County Coroner's preliminary findings. Many of these wounds were defensive in nature, evidence that she fought for her life. This wasn't a quick act of rage. It was prolonged, brutal, and over-the-top violent in every sense. In the aftermath of the stabbing, prosecutors say Revucas didn't stop. Investigators allege he set fire to the apartment, stacking household items near the kitchen stove, dousing them with cleaners, and igniting the blaze. Flames were also discovered near the front door, where firefighters eventually found Eliza's body. Tragically, the fire would further complicate the scene. Firefighters had to work quickly to secure the structure and ensure the safety of neighboring units. By the time Eliza was located and rushed into an ambulance, it was too late. She was pronounced dead. Also in the apartment was a Morales family's elderly pit bull mix, Zula. The dog had suffered severe injuries, reportedly stabbed between the eyes, but miraculously survived by escaping through a patio door during the fire. Zula was taken to an animal hospital for treatment. Responding officers began piecing together what had happened as the scene unfolded. Surveillance footage and witness statements helped identify the suspect's movements. Police traced the vehicle involved and located the pickup truck Revucas had originally intended to purchase at his home in Westmont, Illinois. Law enforcement executed search warrants at multiple locations connected to Revucas. They recovered boots and clothing that appeared to be stained with blood. Additionally, several personal items belonging to Eliza, including her hospital ID and her husband's debit card, were found discarded in a nearby trash bin. Revucas was taken into custody late that night. He was transported to the DuPage County Jail, where he would remain pending trial. Once in custody, Revucas was formally charged with an array of serious offenses, including first-degree murder, robbery, arson, intentional homicide of an unborn child, animal cruelty, all stemming from a senseless act of violence that took 3 lives in a single moment. Eliza's, her unborn babies, and the peace of an entire community. In his initial court appearance, a judge ruled that Revucas would remain in custody without bail until his trial, citing the severity of the charges and the danger he posed to the public. Prosecutors emphasized that this was not an everyday crime, but a sequence of acts that shattered lives and defied easy explanation. The reaction in Downers Grove was one of heartbreak and disbelief. Neighbors, co-workers, and friends gathered for a vigil in Eliza's memory, placing flowers and candles outside her apartment and sharing stories of her kindness and devotion. Family members called for justice, urging the court to apply the full weight of the law against the accused.
She's a sweetheart, and she didn't deserve this, and it's just too painful, and it's just, honestly, you just don't ever expect this to happen.
Pure evil. None of us get it. She did not deserve this. No one deserves anything like this.
They described Eliza as selfless, always thinking of others, qualities that made this tragedy all the more unfathomable. Many who attended the vigil spoke about the void left behind, not just for her husband and daughter, but for a community that now carries a heavy burden of grief and unresolved questions about why such violence could strike so suddenly and so close to home. In rare public statements, Eliza's husband Gabriel and relatives spoke about their loss. They recounted simple moments, routine evenings, laughter shared with their daughter, plans for the future that were abruptly stolen. Gabriel expressed a heartbreaking resolve to remain strong for their surviving child, acknowledging that the pain of losing both his wife and unborn baby would be immeasurable and lasting.
She was over 5 months pregnant, you know, and you did this to a pregnant woman. And she loved nature, she loved walking outside, and even her dog was attacked.
I'll spend the rest of my life wishing I can get every last second back with her and just continue to try to live through her for my daughter and continue to be strong for my family.
Family members describe Eliza as loving and generous, someone who always had a kind word or a helping hand, a stark and painful contrast of violence that ended her life. This tragic and inexplicable crime has left a lasting mark on Downers Grove and the broader community. A routine online transaction, a pickup truck sale, became the genesis of an event that took more than just a life. It took futures, shattered families, and forced the community to confront the darkest possibilities of everyday interactions. As this case moves toward trial and public scrutiny continues, one thing is certain. The world will remember Eliza Morales not for the violence that ended her life, but for the warmth, love, and hope she brought to those around her. And as the community seeks justice and healing, the questions raised by this tragedy will continue to echo, reminding us of both the fragility of life and the enduring need for compassion in the face of senseless loss.